Howdy ho everybody, Phantom Claw here, and I'm going to be reacting to a Halloween video that's on the Slaptown YouTube channel that came out back in October of 2017, so 2 years ago almost. I was planning to save this to October because of it being Halloween month, but yeah, I decided to react to it in today's reaction video. And in case you're wondering what that background noise is, it's basically somebody doing cutting the lawn, pretty much. Now this Halloween video on the Slaptown YouTube channel I'm going to be reacting to is called 8 Real Unsolved Halloween Mysteries That Will Give You Nightmares. Now, the link to this original video will be in the description box down below. And I can't think of any unsolved Halloween mysteries, to be honest. So this would actually be kind of interesting to find out. And this reaction will start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Flat Ham. Today we're talking about Halloween mysteries. From a series of strange Halloween murders to the chilling last words of a death row inmate. Join us as we count 8 real unsolved Halloween mysteries. In the early hours of Halloween in 1981, photographer Ronald Sisman and student Elizabeth Platzman were murdered in their New York apartment on West 22nd Street. The furnishings in the apartment had been completely torn apart, as if the murderer was looking for something. Police received information from a prison informant claiming that one of his fellow inmates had predicted the murders weeks before they actually happened. The inmate was infamous son of Sam serial killer David Berkowitz. In 1977, Berkowitz confessed to killing 6 people and wounding 7 others in a series of shootings in New York City. He claimed that he was following the orders of his neighbor's dog Harvey, who he said was possessed by a demon. During the mid-1990s, Berkowitz amended his confession, claiming that he was actually a member of a satanic cult, and that the cult had committed the murders as violent rituals. Berkowitz claimed that Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Platzman were murdered by members of the cult because Sisman possessed a film of one of the shootings and was planning to hand it over to authorities. The police were unable to find any evidence that supported Berkowitz's claims. However, he was able to provide them with an eerily accurate description of Sisman's apartment. To this day, the murders of Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Platzman remain unsolved.
I'm kind of torn on this one, because on one hand, I do kind of believe him because um, because one, he did admit to it, and two, he did like eerily describe the places in question with good detail. But on the other hand, I don't really believe him so much because I think part of me thinks he might be trying to get attention because of the fact that he literally changed his story twice. But because he told like 2 different stories, like because like first he said he thought that his or someone else, because he said that a dog had told him to commit these murders. If he had stuck with that story, he could have gone with like an insanity plea in. So instead of being in prison, he probably would have been in a gone to like a mental health facility. But then he took back what he said, and then claimed he was that he was part of a satanic cult, and that they were done as a ritualistic type murders. So, that pink noise is from a Windows Movie Maker. I got that. I was editing together another reaction video. Uh, be right back. Okay. Okay. So I just had to sorry about that. I had to sort that out to because otherwise I would have been distracted by that.
On Halloween night in 2002, University of Minnesota student Christopher Jenkins left a keg party with friends and headed to the Lone Tree Bar and Grill in Minneapolis. About 1.5 hours later, Jenkins was ejected from the bar. He was still wearing his American Indian costume and didn't have his wallet, phone, or keys. That was the last
Mm.
time Christopher Jenkins was seen alive, and what happened next remains a mystery. 4 months later, Jenkins's body was discovered floating down the Mississippi River on its back with arms crossed. Initially, authorities labelled his death as accidental. However, his parents didn't
But
believe the
how is it
findings and sought
accidental?
other opinions. In 2006, Jenkins's case was reclassified as a homicide. Later that year, a man who was already in jail claimed he was present when Jenkins was robbed and thrown off the Hennepin Avenue Bridge. The lead ultimately went nowhere as surveillance footage showed nothing unusual, and witnesses claimed to have seen nothing strange occur along the busy bridge that night. With very few leads, some suggested that Jenkins may have been a victim of a mysterious group of killers known as the Smiley Face Gang, a theory developed by two retired New York City detectives. They suggested that during the 1990s and 2000s, as many as 45 missing college age males whose bodies were all discovered in water at various locations across the country may have been the victims of an organised group of murderers. The detectives discovered a painted smiley face at least 12 locations where they believed the killers had initially dumped the bodies. With little else to go on, and despite the fact that no smiley face was actually found near Jenkins's body, the theory still remains a possibility. To this day, Jenkins' case remains unsolved.
That's just unfortunate and
On
sad.
Halloween night in 1986, 16-year-old Chaim Weiss was murdered by a sharp blow to the head while he slept in his room at the Mesivta of Long Beach, an Orthodox Jewish high school in New York. The following day,
Damn.
Detective Don Daly was called to the scene and immediately ran into difficulty with the investigation. He was unable to take statements from any of the students as it was a Saturday morning, which is the Sabbath. Being an Orthodox Jewish school, none of the potential witnesses were able to write. It's thought that the killer probably knew the layout of the dormitory as there was no signs of forced entry. There was also signs that the killer was familiar with Orthodox Jewish customs, as it appeared that Weiss's body had been moved from his bed to the floor and a window left open to allow his spirit to escape. One student came forward and said he thought the door to his room had been open through the night, but he assumed it was just his roommate. It's possible that the killer may have entered the wrong room by mistake. A rabbi placed a memorial candle in the room that was to remain there for 1 week. The crime scene was then sealed. 2 days later, a second candle appeared in the room, but no one ever admitted to placing it there. A police polygraph of 40 students and staff also failed to reveal any leads. More than 30 years on, the case remains unsolved. No one has ever been able to
Students
explain
saying
who entered Weiss's room or why he was
yes, if
killed. The murder weapon has never been found.
damn.
On Halloween in 1955, Marilyn Damon went to the grocery store with her two young children. She let her 3-year-old son Stephen wait outside with his sister, 7-month-old Pamela, who was in a baby carriage. When Mrs. Damon returned 10 minutes later, she was horrified to discover that both children were gone. After a
Well,
frantic
well,
search, Pamela was found just around the
what do you expect? When you leave your kids alone like that, then there's always a whole chance that both your kids would be missing.
corner from the store, still in her carriage. Her brother Stephen, however, was never seen again. The case went cold until 2009 when a 54-year-old man named John Barnes from Kalkaska, Michigan came forward believing that he could be the missing boys. However, after the FBI administered a DNA test, it was determined that they were not the same person. At the time of his disappearance, experts believe that Stephen may have been kidnapped and raised under a different name. It's possible that he may be still out there, totally unaware that he was taken from his birth mother when he was only 3 years old.
At least someone stepped forward and was willing
On
to admit he
Halloween
might be the
2001,
person.
21-year-old Pennsylvania State University student Cindy Song disappeared after attending a Halloween party at a local nightclub. Around 2 a.m., still dressed in her bunny costume, Song left the nightclub and went to a friend's house for 2 hours before being dropped off outside her apartment. From that point, she was never seen again. A search of her apartment revealed that Song had made it inside because the false eyelashes she was wearing as part of her costume were on the nightstand. There was, however, no sign of a struggle. Shortly after her disappearance, a witness came forward saying she had seen a person matching Song's description in Philadelphia's Chinatown, some 200 miles from her apartment. The witness claimed the woman was calling out for help from a car driven by an unidentified male. In 2003, a bank robber by the name of Hugo Marcus Selensky was arrested, and when his property was searched, the remains of up to 12 people were found in his backyard. When questioned, Selensky told police that he and another man named Michael Jason Kukowski Jr. had kidnapped and murdered Song. Kukowski Jr. was unable to corroborate the story, however, as he was one of the people whose remains were found in Selensky's backyard. Selensky went on to tell police that he had murdered Kukowski Jr. after he found out that he kept the bunny ears as a souvenir from Song's Halloween costume. Despite Selensky's testimony, investigators had been unable to charge him with Song's murder due to a lack of evidence. He's
Wait,
still a
what?
suspect, however, Song's case remains unsolved.
Wait, what? Seriously? That's just messed up. This is messed up. This one is. That's all I can say. This one's just messed up.
On Halloween night in 1977, 19-month-old Nima Louise Carter was abducted from her house in Lawton, Oklahoma. It was thought that since the windows in Carter's room were locked, the abductor may have been hiding in the closet waiting for her parents to fall asleep before taking the child. 23 days later, a group of children playing in a nearby abandoned house made a gruesome discovery when they opened an old refrigerator. Inside was the body of a young girl, later identified as Carter. A year and a half prior to Carter's abduction, 3-year-old twin sisters, Mary and Tina Carpenter, had been taken from their home and locked in a refrigerator at another abandoned house about 1 mile from where Carter's body was discovered. The sisters were found 2 days later. Tina had survived, but Mary had suffocated. Surviving sister Tina identified her abductor as Jacqueline Rubidoux, a friend of the family. However, Rubidoux was not charged due to a lack of evidence. She was free and soon after became the babysitter of Nima Louise Carter. Despite the eerie similarity of the crimes, Rubidoux never admitted to nor was ever convicted of Carter's murder. Some years later, she was retried for the murder of Mary Carpenter. This time, she was found guilty and received a life sentence.
Good. Too bad she's gonna be charged with the other thing.
On
The other
Halloween in
murder.
1979, the body of an unidentified female was found along Interstate
The Texas
45 in
and
Georgetown, Texas.
interstate
The woman was
murders.
believed to have been between the ages of 15 and 30 and
Interstate.
had been strangled. She was
Uh,
discovered wearing nothing but a pair of orange socks. The following year,
orange
once again on
socks.
Halloween, another young woman was found murdered. She too had been strangled. Her body was discovered by a truck driver along Interstate 45 near Huntsville in Walker County, Texas. The manager of a South End Golf station, along with 2 employees at the Hitchin Post truck stop, claimed to have seen the young woman while she was still alive that Halloween night. One reported that she asked for directions to Alice Prison, claiming she wanted to visit a friend there. She then set off towards the prison on foot. Investigators showed inmates and staff at the prison a photo of the victim, however, no one claimed to have seen her. In 1982, serial killer Henry Lee Lucas confessed to the murder of the woman in the orange socks. He claimed he had picked her up in Oklahoma and drove her to Georgetown. Naturally, he became a suspect in the second woman's murder, however, bite marks on her shoulder didn't match his dental charts. Lucas was eventually convicted of the murder of Orange Socks and was sentenced to the death penalty. However, 2 years later, Lucas recanted his confession and had his sentence reduced to life imprisonment. Further evidence was discovered showing that Lucas was likely working in Florida at the time of the murder and therefore probably not involved. Despite exhaustive investigations, neither of the victims have ever been able to be identified, and to this day their killer or killers remain on the loose.
Shit. Some of these murders are messed up.
On Halloween in 1981, a
Genuine final
76 year
words.
old nun was attacked and murdered while she slept at the St. Francis Convent in Amarillo, Texas. 5 weeks later, a 17-year-old intellectually disabled boy named Johnny Frank Garrett was arrested. He was convicted and sentenced to the death penalty. Garrett was granted a temporary reprieve after Pope John Paul II asked for clemency. The Texas Board of Pardons then held a vote on whether or not to reduce Garrett's sentence to a life in prison. The death penalty was retained unanimously. Garrett was eventually executed by lethal injection on the 11th of February 1992, despite maintaining his innocence the entire time. In 2008, University of Houston Law School graduate Jesse Quackenbush made a documentary about Garrett's case titled The Last Word. In it, he argues that Garrett was innocent of the crime. The documentary claims that the investigation was performed poorly and that law enforcement officials acted hastily in order to secure a quick conviction. It also claims that new evidence uncovered years after Garrett was executed actually proved that they had the wrong man. In Garrett's final statement before his death, he professed his innocence one last time, then swore he would get revenge on those responsible for his murder.
Who the hell do you think you are? Jack the Ripper? Or Freddy? Wow, that was daunting now, wasn't it, everybody? Yeah, sorry about the barking that you all heard doing that. Um, yeah, apparently my sister just turned back home, and I still need to find a place on my own to move out to, because sadly I still live with my mum. I am planning to move out to find a two-bedroom place to live at though. If you know somewhere in Britain that where there's like a two-bedroom place I can move to outside of Norwich, please let me know, because and if you're no, hey, if anyone's lucky, if one of you are lucky, you might get to be my roommate if you're lucky. But anyway, I'll probably I'm gonna edit that out. Anyway, that's 8 real unsolved Halloween mysteries that will give you nightmares. This video was by Slapped Ham, so link to this video will be in the description box down below if anybody wants to go and check out the original video without seeing my ugly mug and my pointless commentary, because I wasn't really saying much. Um, um, yeah, that's literally how I felt with I literally, honestly, probably felt like going, what the fuck, at some of those, because for obvious reasons I don't think I really need to go into too much detail about. Yeah, some of those were really messed up, as you can tell, and that's gonna be it for this reaction video. Hope you lot have a good day or night, depending on your time zone. Um, comment down below what your thoughts were about these messed up unsolved Halloween mysteries. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the reaction video. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, and until next time, goodbye for now.